Hello, Stevie Heline here with Heline Innovations, and wanted to go into an in-depth description and assembly of a Torque Jack Pro, um, just to explain it all. It's a very high-quality product, and what I absolutely dislike about customs, U.S. customs, is they make me label it as made in China. It's not. It just isn't. The only thing I get from China is the handle. Um, Customs is very stringent on analysis and whatever. You're not going to fight customs. So, but this is the handle, how it starts off with. We do not use this drive bolt, but this is a 4 Rockwell hardness on the handle, which is really soft. And what we do, and I did redo the design, so we have an integral grease fitting here instead of this one. So we'll set this aside. But what happened on earlier versions is the slave gear, as you torqued, would twist in here, and then it would create grooves on the inside of this handle. 4 Rockwell, this is about 37 Rockwell before we do what we do, and it would just eat from the inside out this handle, and that's what limited us from lifting a lot of weight. We were rated at about 800 pounds tongue weight, and that's about all we could get. So wanted to develop a unit that was able to lift dual jack trailers, and it took a minute to get there as we chased friction around the gear set. But okay, so what we do is we machine this out. We're still 4 Rockwell, but we machine this out so it's a perfect circle, and then we put in some assembly holes and dowels. We also machine this out so that we can create more room for end-to-end needle bearings. And so we do some additional drilling and aligning so that we have perfect centers of rotation. But like I said, U.S. Customs makes us say made in China. We're not. We just aren't. We bring the blank handle in. We take these gears. These gears are heat treated and sandblasted, and we get them up to about a 44, 45 Rockwell, which is real hard, which would really eat away at this handle. But what we do is we isolate everything from the handle so nothing touches it. So this gear is pressed on, and it is a it's a press, and this is a custom tube. This one is undersized, that's why it slipped right over. Once we get to this part, it's a perfect press. It's beautiful. So anyhow, what we do is this slides in here, and then we have our carrier bearing that goes in here, and then we have a bearing cap that goes over that, and that keeps everything in line and keeps the slave gear from hitting the walls. And I realize this is probably a fairly long video, but a lot of guys like to see the technical stuff and how we do it, and I'm sort of a technical guy. I like details, so that's why I'm taking the time to do this. So I'm sorry if it's sort of lengthy, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's what we do with the slave gear. When you use this grease fitting, you're greasing the worm, which transfers grease to the slave. This, my friend, is the heart of it all. This is a work of art. And what we have is a custom drive bolt. And this, with our bearings, and I'll show you how we do it, isolates the worm from the sides and also up and down, so that, once again, we don't touch the walls of the handle. So we have a set of end-to-end needle bearings that are sandwiched in washers. So we have one set here, and then we put our big bearing. And if you notice, I call these barrel needle bearings, and they're really nice. So when they go over this wall, and this is a grease fitting, this is pretty much the main reason why I'm doing this video. You need one of these adapters to go in here and push and grease and get grease in here, because what we're doing is that grease is gonna go into the hollow channel and then come out here and here and here and here, and it is gonna lubricate those bearings. So we're gonna put our end-to-end needle bearings there, and then our final barrel needle bearing, and that's our assembly there. This was a game changer when we came up with this design, this custom drive bolt. It's pretty cool. So this handle happens to have them in there already, but that gives us isolated movement up, all around here. Nothing touches this wall. But it needs lubricated. This is the most important part to lubricate. And a lot of guys forget, so understandably so, because I've never seen one of these until we came up with it or discovered it. And that was an instrumental part of this design. So it's very easy to overlook this fitting. Actually, here's a blank one before we install. So it's pretty neat, but it's an inverted grease fitting. So you get one of these adapters, push that in, do your, hopefully you got a cordless grease gun, makes it a little easier. But so anyhow, that's that design. Once we do all that, assemble it, our bearing caps keep the worm or the slave gear from hitting the walls. Our end-to-end bearings keep the worm from hitting the walls and eating away at this. And then our barrel needle bearings keep any movement up or around isolated from hitting the wall. So this is just a carrier and nothing touches it. And it's awesome. That's what allows us to lift. I'll be real straightforward. I've lifted 15,000, I've lifted 18,000 pounds of tongue weight with this unit. Oh, here's a finished unit. It's a work of art. It's beautiful. This is a really a high quality piece. And I do break these in a little bit when I get them. We do ask you to, run it up and down about 10 times with a loaded trailer, just to break everything in. And then if it starts running rough on you, just, grease. This is very important. Grease your dry bolt, and you'll see grease start to come out here. You'll see it start to come out on the sides here, and grease your main grease fitting for the slave and the worm. But just a real nice unit. And then what makes Torque Jack Pro a little bit more versatile is we have this attachment called Nate's Sidewinder. And this goes on here. So when you're on your trailer jack axle, you just pull this pin so that this will rotate around the axle, and then operate your drill, and this will turn and you can wrap your straps. So it's pretty cool. Named that after my pool buddy. We're always teasing each other, and figured I would troll him by naming the product out of him. So we sort of go back and forth. It's pretty neat. Anyhow, that is Torque Jack Pro. That is how we build it, and it is a monster of a gearbox. Let me say this too: when you initially set up your trailer, make sure your jacks are greased. Put a piece of tape or mark 2 inches before the end of the stroke on your jack and the upper stroke of your jack. You don't, because you're drill operated, you're not really, when you do it by hand and you get to the end of the stroke, your S handle just stops. Oh, okay, I'm at the end. But when you're using a drill and it's on high speed, or just it'll twist. It's you don't want to do that. And there are some manufacturers out there that their gear set just explodes when that happens, because they're not built nearly as strong as what this is. It's hard to beat a worm gear over a slave for robustness, if I can use that word. So you're probably not going to hurt ours. I haven't had a failure there that way yet. Some of the other guys sell rebuild kits. We don't sell one because we don't need one. But a very, very durable design. We're pretty happy with it. I think you will be too. We're lifting quite a bit of weight. And like I said, if your Torque Jack Pro ends up running a little bit rough, what it's doing is it's asking for some grease. So we sell these adapters on the website. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at Home Depot, AutoZone. There's plenty of places to get them, but yeah, pick up one of those or get one from us when you order, whatever. And that's pretty much it. So hope that was informative. I wanted to do it to explain the whole product and give you a better idea that the quality that is put into this. And we're, for all intensive logical purpose, we are American made. We're USA made. I mean, our bearings, our heat treat, our custom dry bolt, our custom bearing caps, our custom tube, all that is built here in Wadsworth, Millersburg, and Macedonia, Ohio, where I got 3 shops making these, and we're US made. So anyhow, I'll let you go, but thank you for everything, and hope you become a customer. Thank you. Bye.